On September 8th, 1990, I was there. Looking back on it, I consider this an early birthday gift from my dad. A week early, but it's a nice gift. On my actual birthday, the Giants would be at the Astrodome taking on these same Astros. Sometimes a game that doesn't have any bearing on a pennant race can be just as good. The Giants had a strong month in June to keep pace with the eventual division winner Cincinnati Reds, but faded near the end of the summer to lock up third place in the NL West. The Houston Astros, on the other hand, were lukewarm all season. It wasn't until August of that season that they played a month of baseball where they won more games than they lost. At the end of the season, they would finish in a fourth place tie with the Padres and 10 games behind the Giants in the standings. This was long before the days of the Killer Bees, the late Jose Lima and his outstanding Lima time season in 1999, losing in the NLDS 3 years in a row in the final 3 years of play at the Astrodome. Their notables in 1990 was Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, San Jose Sports Hall of Fame inductee, the late great Ken Caminiti. There was a young up-and-coming rookie that played in this game that I would get a front row seat to see in 1999 when he was riding on a very long hitting streak as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Five-time All-Star and 2001 World Series folk hero, Luis Gonzalez. Aside from Mike Scott as their ace, 3 pitchers from their staff would go on to play for the Giants. Mark Portugal, who played 4 seasons with the Astros, owning the Giants, played a season and a half with the Giants. Jim Deshaies would join the Giants in the second half of the 1993 season, where the team won 103 games and it still wasn't enough to make the postseason. Starter-turned-reliever Danny Darwin was traded to the Giants from the White Sox in 1997 and would be on the NL Western Division champion Giants team. He would retire after one more season with the Giants in 1998. The starting pitcher for the Giants in this game was Kelly Downs. Downs had fantastic seasons in 1987 and 1988 where he won 12 games and 13 games respectively. He was an important cog in the 1987 team that went to the NLCS. In 1989 and 1990, he spent a lot of time on the injured list and the minor leagues recovering from his maladies. This was one of the 9 games that he started. He spent his entire 9-year major league career in the Bay Area, wrapping it up with a season and a half for the Oakland A's in 1992 and 93. For the Astros, a pitcher who was a medical marvel, Bill Gullickson. Gullickson started his career with the Montreal Expos in 1979 and played 7 seasons for the Quebecois. In 1986 and 87, he went from the Expos to the Reds to the Yankees. After declaring free agency following the 1987 season, he would sign a 2-year deal with the Giants.
Not those Giants.
Yes, sir!
After playing in Japan, he would return to the States for a year with the Astros and 4 with the Detroit Tigers, where he had a 20-win season in 1991. I mentioned he was a medical marvel because he posted double-digit win seasons in every year except for 1979, 1981 because strike, and 1994 because strike. He did all of this while having juvenile diabetes, also known as type 1 diabetes. You know, the rare kind. Gullickson would retire after the 1994 season due to injury. His outstanding pitching, despite having diabetes, would prompt the Japanese Diabetes Society to have an award named after him. You like pitchers' duels? Because that's what this story is. I sat through one a couple of weeks earlier. In fact, the night before the game was a pitcher's showdown that was decided in the 9th inning. It wouldn't be until the 4th inning when either one of these teams got on the scoreboard. In the bottom half, Matt Williams led off for the Giants. 1 pitch, 1 souvenir clearing the old chain link fence, 1-0 Giants. The pitcher's duel continued. In his 9 innings of work, Downs would retire the Astro batters in order for 5 of those innings. Gullickson had a solid outing himself. In the bottom of the 7th inning, he was able to work his way out of a jam against a 2-out rally for the Giants, which had Brett Butler reaching base on a single. After Butler stole second base, Mike Kingery and Will Clark drew walks. With the bases loaded and their cleanup hitter Kevin Mitchell looking to blow the game wide open, Gullickson got Mitchell to strike out looking to keep the pitcher's duel going. Gullickson would be replaced by Meyer after the 7th inning for the Astros. Downs would try to get a complete game shutout going into the top of the 9th. Eric Yelding would begin trying to ruin the shutout with a base hit to center. With Gerald Young at the plate, Yelding stole second. Young would ground out to first. Yelding would move to third. Carl Rhodes would bat next and would fly out to right for the second out. Yelding would tag up and score to tie the game. At the bottom of the 9th, Meyer would set the Giants down in order and this game would be going to extra innings. The first game I ever went to that would go past 9 innings. Downs' day would end when Ernest Riles pinch hit for him. Steve Bedrosian would take over. Despite giving up a leadoff single to Luis Gonzalez, Bedrosian would get the next 3 Astro batters to ground out and leave Gonzalez stranded at third. Now it was the Giants' turn to end it. Meyer would stay in the game, but he was going to have his work cut out for him. Due up was the heart of the order for the Giants: Clark, Mitchell, and Williams. Clark grounded out. Mitchell popped out in foul territory. All Meyer had to do was take care of Williams, and maybe the Astros would have a chance to take the lead in the 11th inning with the pitcher spot and the top of the lineup due up. Nope, not today. Williams would crush a 2-0 pitch over that old chain link fence in left field that didn't have the bleachers in yet. The Giants ended up winning the weekend series with a 5-1 win the next day. The following weekend, where my birthday was on a Saturday, the Astros would sweep the Giants at ye old Astrodome. This wouldn't be the last game I went to in 1990. I would go to one more game at the Stick and be introduced to the mannerisms of a Giants-Dodgers rivalry. It wasn't much of a game with the Dodgers and Giants out of playoff contention. The Giants smashed the Dodgers 8-2 on what would have been the last game of the season, but due to a lockout that canceled spring training, it wasn't. But I did get to see the man, the myth, the legend, the man behind the craze known as Fernando Mania, one of 8 pitchers to throw a no-hitter in 1990, Fernando Valenzuela. As mentioned earlier, sometimes when there is nothing riding on a game, it still can be entertaining, and it was an early birthday present from my dad. Thanks, Dad, for letting me be there on September 8th, 1990.